Deep state is used to describe secret governments which operate in the shadows of public knowledge. These organizations are believed to control countries by indirectly shaping public policy, empowering terrorist groups, and manipulating the flow of information. It is unknown how many layers of the deep state are currently out there, but we do know that the existence of deep states have been proven to exist in countries like Russia, Turkey, and Pakistan. Today, we explore the top 10 countries which have been exposed to contain deep state influencers. Number 10. Pakistan. In 1947, Pakistan was formed by the growing Muslim population within India. Pakistan's deep state actively engages in conflicts with their neighbor, India. Ever since the secession, Pakistan and India have feuded over borders, politics, and religion. Their deep state has sponsored anti-India terrorists through the inter-service intelligence agency called the ISI. This agency has been thought to have been behind the Pulwana attack in February of 2019, where 40 Indians were killed and over 35 others were injured. This attack is part of the thousand cuts mentality, the idea that anything can be destabilized with many small attacks rather than one large assault. Whatever is fueling these types of attacks certainly seems to have intel and funding that could only have been gathered by a state-sponsored agency. At number 9, Italy. The Italians are no stranger to hosting deep state politics. Fascism ruled the landscape from the 1920s until the 1940s. But before fascism overtook Italy, Propaganda Jew, aka P2, called many of the shots. P2 is part of a Masonic lodge and can be thought of as a conglomerate of public and private Italian interests. Started in 1877, P2 has been comprised of military leaders, intelligence agencies, and politicians. These figures formed a connected network of power, wealth, and information. P2 was disassembled in 1982, and some disturbing documents were found in the headquarters of the building. One of these documents was called Plan for Democratic Rebirth, which contained detailed instructions about how to rewrite the Italian constitution, break up trade unions, and control the media. It is not known how far into the execution of the document P2 had made it, but the Italian economy has been struggling in recent years, and it is not a far stretch of the imagination to believe that this could be the work of P2's successors. Number 8. Venezuela. The South American country is home to many industries, most notably oil and drug trafficking. The deep state of the South American government has been operating silently, unobserved by its citizens for many years. In March of 2019, the U.S. had been quietly working to replace members of the Venezuelan government in order to take control. The plan was to stage a coup to replace the current president Maduro with the new U.S. allied president Guaido. Unfortunately for America, the failure to stage and execute this political coup highlights just how much secrecy surrounds the country's inner workings. It's thought that the U.S. had intentions of controlling Venezuela's vast oil reserves, but this plan has been halted. For now, it would not be unreasonable to believe that the U.S. or something else in Venezuela is working on a new plan to usurp the leadership. The 7th entry on our list of deep state controlled countries is Egypt. Egypt has long been controlled by two entities, their military and their intelligence agency. During 2011 protests, crowds demanded that their president leave office due to his failure and inability to lead effectively. When President Mubarak refused to step down from his position of power, the military withdrew their support from him. The following day, he resigned. This assertion of dominance by the military showed the outside world who was really in control of Egypt. In conjunction with the GID, Egypt is being manipulated by both internal and external forces. The internet has been repeatedly turned off by the government to control media and news from escaping their country. And it's pretty clear that the president does not truly have much power in the country at all. Number 6. Russia. Russia is a country whose politics are surrounded by a masquerade of supposedly democratic elections. The Soviet secret police can be thought of as Russia's self-made deep state. They are more commonly known as the KGB. It has been said that the political bureau of the Central Committee of the Communist Party is not the true ruling power of Russia. The real power of Russia comes from a darker place, unknown and misunderstood by most ordinary civilians. Lenin, Stalin, and now Putin seem to just be pawns controlled by the deep state according to whoever or whatever actually calls the shots. The KGB is loyal to unknown rulers. Putin was a former member of the KGB, but one has to wonder if he ascended to power through his own merit or due to their wishes. Number 5. Iran. Iran is a country with rich history and a questionable future. The deep state we can see is represented by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This Sepah is part of Iran's armed forces and it was created in 1979. Publicly, the role of the Guard is to protect the borders and maintain internal order of the country, but this is just a facade to keep them legitimate. The real purpose of this Guard is to protect the interest of the Russians and to ensure that Iran continues its quest towards becoming a superpower. The IRGC also ensures that the state of Iran grows towards its goal of nuclear weapons by influencing public and private entities to assist in this effort. Number 4. Chile. Chile is subject to the will of their own secret police. But who does this police actually serve? In the 1970s, the DINA was separated from the army for an unknown reason. It's been reported that the DINA has over 1,000 agents to help carry out their mission. They have the power to detain any person for as long as they would like during a state of emergency, which some presidents have called during their entire ruling term. It's not uncommon for DINA to use torture or other inhumane tactics to extract information from detainees. In addition to having little oversight, DINA actively censors media channels to regulate radio, newspapers, and other forms of communication to the Chilean people. Number 3. Turkey. Turkey's deep state is possibly one of the most well-documented but least understood. It's rumored to consist of anti-democratic politicians, judges, military officials, and mafia. It's not uncommon to hear about violence during elections, most likely with the goal of influencing the people to vote for a particular candidate. The goal of Turkey's deep state is to continue an agenda of anti-worker legislation and to become an ultranationalist country. There have been anti-Islamist campaigns connected to known individuals in the network of conspirators in order to scare people from their religion. Some people say that Turkey is not really an alliance of interconnected deep state actors, but an aggregate of separate groups working towards separate goals. But the truth may never be known. Number 2. North Korea. North Korea is perhaps one of the most unpredictable countries in the world. Their quest for nuclear weapons and respect has taken them down a road that has gathered the attention of the entire world. It is very possible that a deep state exists within the closed regime, calling all of the shots and staging Kim Jong-un as a puppet. Information does not leave North Korea easily, and it sure doesn't help that most of the world has no clue what actually goes on within their government. Some people have theorized that Russia or China created the deep state during the Korean War in order to create a proxy war with the United States. This proxy war allows states to fight each other indirectly, but without starting World War III. What do you think? Could this be a big hoax, or is it something much worse than anyone could imagine? And number 1 is the United States of America. Within the United States of America, belief in the existence of a deep state is strong. Anytime a president has been killed or a major political upset occurs, the deep state is blamed. Are these accusations valid or just fodder? The US has a very transparent government structure. Having been laid out hundreds of years ago, it is unlike that of governments in developing countries who construct new constitutions with every regime change they have. Private organizations are always competing for control of US policy in order to further their own agendas, whether it be money, power, or anything else. If the US does have a ruling deep state, it is very well hidden and has been able to avoid detection for a very, very long time. The thought of deep state existing in any country is scary. It violates trust in democratic processes and forces us to look at the political landscape from a new perspective. We should remember that in order to prove something's existence, concrete evidence is the burden of proof, not suspicion. We want to thank all of you for tuning in to today's video. We will be uploading much more frequently as we have been lately, so please stay tuned for that. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our new content. Once again, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video.